Suck it, nerds. How's it going, YouTube? It is Vengeful Shadows here. We're going to do a real quick video today on the Master Duel Selection Pack update, okay? And if anyone has not been updated on that, it is going to be very exciting. We are getting 2 new selection packs actually added to the game, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and it's kind of a nice little godsend, alright? We've been waiting for new content on this since the drop. A lot of people have been sick of, having the same card selection they have. Maybe they've been playing the TCG for a little while longer than the rest of us, so they kind of have been used to these cards for like a year now or so, okay? Especially people who have been playing with the OCG, all right? So we're getting 2 new selection packs, and we're going to kind of do a little bit of a dive into what the packs kind of contain, because they give you a list of them. We'll kind of pull up some pictures as well as effects, but the 2 packs that we're getting is a Ruler's Mask as well as Beyond Speed. Now, to keep in mind, okay, so we're getting selection packs. Now, those cards are also going to be added to the main Master Pack, okay? So the Master Pack pool of loot is getting slightly diluted, but that's kind of like, whatever, it's already at 6,000, so it doesn't really matter. We don't really use those, okay? But what is interesting, so those are going to be, like I said, selection packs. So Revival Legends and Star Walt Force are going to be removed from the pool. These new selection packs will be added in their place, as well as the pool into the Master Pack. So what I can assume from that, and again, this is just making assumptions, okay, that within those packs and in the Master Pack itself, those cards will be put into another secret pack, or sub-secret packs will probably be added to accommodate those cards getting added to the loot pool and easier ways for you to obtain them. Okay, now that has not been guaranteed, but also that also goes along with the term secret. Okay, and I do think we're going to be getting some secret packs to make it slightly easier to obtain some of the new cards, right? That would only make sense. So they give us kind of a little list of cards that are going to be included in here for us, okay? And then we're also going to go over a little bit of a bigger list and kind of dissect it in cards that we have in the game that can be used with the cards that are going to be coming out soon, okay? So, like I said, the 2 that we have here is called Beyond Speed, as well as Ruler's Mask. Now, Beyond Speed is basically, as it seems, going to be on a Synchro pack. It's going to be all heavily based on synchroing, synchro summons, and bringing new synchro boss monsters to the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And this has led a lot of players to expect there might be a synchro event coming up shortly as potentially our next event, okay? Considering they're releasing a bunch of synchro monsters to us, especially the boss monsters, okay? And for players that are in the TCG, we're actually kind of being brought up almost to where we're at the TCG, but we're still behind, okay, on quite a few cards that are missing and quite a few meta game-changing decks that are missing as well, okay? And we're gonna, like I said, go over a quick list here, and we just want to give it a quick shout out, masterduelguide.com, for giving us the crispy images as well as some good updates on Twitter, okay? And if anyone finds any of this interesting, definitely consider dropping that sub, guys. We're trying to get the numbers up. But here we go. We're going to be going right into the list of stuff. And I want to definitely add as well. So the ranking season ends on the 31st this season. This pack comes out on... Yeah, so it ends on the 31st for the ranking season. And these packs come out, I think it said the 4th. Yes, on April 4th. So we're not too certain at this exact time if we're going to be getting a ban list within the following week, or maybe even like the week after the pack comes out, or if they're going to do the standard issue where they're going to release the ban list on what's going to be the contents of the list, and then have you play out the remaining of the season, or halfway through the season is when the changes might be made, kind of like how they do in Duel Links, okay? So it'll be interesting to see how the ban list gets applied with these packs coming out, and if it gets timed perfectly with it, or if there's going to be a little bit of a delay between the 2, which probably will be, okay? And then hopefully the new gem deals do renew themselves with this set coming out. So without further ado and less talking, we're going to have the synchro set here, and some of the boss monsters, as well as some cards to play with it. The first one is Shooting Majestic Star Dragon. Super incredibly big bodied monster, 4,000 attack. It takes a Majestic Dragon and 1+ non-tuner monsters, including a Dragon Synchro monster. Okay. So you at least need one Dragon Synchro. You can have a few more monsters, but one of them needs to be a Dragon Synchro, and then the Majestic Dragon. So this is the new boss monster, Shooting Majestic Star Dragon, that kind of replaces the older one. And once per turn, you're able to negate the effects of one effect monster that your opponent controls. Okay, so you just summon it, negate an opponent's effect, and then it also gains additional attack for every Stardust Dragon or Stardust Synchro monster in your graveyard that has Stardust Dragon in its text. Okay, it gains one additional attack per. Since it's a 4,000, one more attack makes it at 8,000, which can be lethal. Anything above that is lethal with a cherry on top. Okay, and then also once per turn, when an opponent activates a card effect at all, so this is a quick effect, you can banish this card until the end phase, and if you do, you negate the activation, and if you do that, you banish the card. So it will self-banish to save itself. You negate the card that's going to activate, and then you banish the card as well, and then Shooting Majestic Star Dragon will return to the field. Okay, so new boss monster for a bunch of Stardust decks. Another one we're getting is Crystal Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, and much like Crystal Wing and then Clear Wing, this one is insane, especially with negating monster effects. Takes a tuner Synchro monster and a non-tuner Clear Wing monster, okay? So once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can quick effect and activate this card's effect, which lets him be unaffected by monster effects. So again, your opponent activates a monster effect, you chain Crystal Clear Wing Synchro, and then for the remainder of the turn, Crystal Clear Wing Synchro is unaffected by monster effects, okay? That's all right. It's really good. Doesn't prevent your other stuff from dying, but his second effect is really good as well. So it's a once per turn, quick effect when a spell or trap card is activated. You can negate the activation, and if you do, you destroy that card. So he gets a monster effect negation, or not negation for the monster effect. He basically gets to prevent himself from being affected by the monster effects, and then he gets a spell or trap negation once per turn. And then on top of that, if it was Synchro Summon and it's sent to the graveyard by opponent's card effect, or card, so battle or effect, you can add one win monster from the deck to the hand. So it gets to prevent itself from being affected by monsters, prevents a spell or trap from activating, and if it gets sent to the graveyard, you add a win from the deck to the hand. Super insane boss monsters for a bunch of the Speedroid decks, which we're going to be seeing archetype probably dependent, support coming out in these packs. We also have some of the other boss monsters like High Speedroid Clear Wing Rider, so a Stellar Wind Wolf. But the one that everyone, and I want to emphasize the most on right now, is the Baron de Fleur, okay? And this card in the TCG just immediately took over, okay? And that's because, if I'm correct, it's a 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and yep, that is 10 stars. So we have now a really good level 10 boss monster, okay? And it's wind, so it works well with those archetypes. All right, and it just takes 2 monsters. Once per turn, you can target a card on the field, destroy it. That's nice. Once while it's face up on the field, when a card or effect is activated, as a quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, you destroy that card, okay? So it's once while it's face up on the field, it gets that negate. And then once per turn, during the standby phase, you could target one level 9 or lower monster in your graveyard, return this card to the extra deck, and if you do, you special summon the monster that you selected, okay? So it can put itself back into the extra deck, and then summon itself out again, but you can only use that negate once per turn as well for the Baron. Okay, so keep that in mind. But what makes him super strong, aside from being able to pop and have a free negate and have a 3,000 body and be able to recur itself, is honestly some of the cards that have already been in the game so far. And that is things like Crystron Halcofebrax, we have Desert Locust, we have things like Formula Synchron as well. So the nice little combo is you have a Halk on the board, use the ability to special summon out either a Desert Locust or Formula on your opponent's turn. Formula lets you draw, Desert makes them discard, okay? And then, using their abilities as tuners that can quick effect synchro on your opponent's turn, you will synchro summon into a Baron de Fleur. Half the time you'll have a monster that negates on the board, you'll use the effect to negate, use Halk, tribute it, go into the tuner, draw or discard their card, then you synchro immediately into the Baron, allowing you to have an one negate on the board as well. So that is super good, and I think Baron, especially coming out to the game, will change some of the meta game a bit, and it'll be nice, like I said, having that level 10 boss monster. We're also going to get a bunch, I would assume, this is not confirmed for these cards, but I would assume we're going to get a bunch of Speedroid stuff, supports going into the selection box, as well as probably some of those secret packs, so be on the lookout for that. So if you like Speedroids, this is definitely going to be a pack for you. Okay, the next one is the Mask. Okay, and I believe it was Ruler's Mask, which is a bunch of Despia support, it looks like. So we're going to be getting Despia support, some branded support. For those that aren't in the TCG, it's a huge fusion overhaul we're going to be getting. So it looks like they're amping up our Synchro support, and then we're getting a touch of fusion support, and then branded will probably be coming later on in the year. And so right out of the rip, we got the Dramaturge of Despia. So essentially, if a Fusion, Synchro, Exceed, or Link monster is special summoned, you target effect monster on the field and negate its effects until the end phase, okay? But if this card itself is used for a fusion material and sent to the graveyard, you get to special summon it. So that's really nice. It's nice 3,000 you can summon, as well as have some negates for your opponent's extra deck monsters, okay? And like I said, the Despia support is going to be giving us a lot of fusion support coming out here, okay? Another big name in that pack is the Iron Sword Soul. I want to remind everyone, Sword Soul came out a little bit after Iron Sword Soul came out in TCG, so I don't think we're going to be seeing a Sword Soul Secret Pack. They would definitely be advertising it more. Okay, so I think this is just a hint of what to come. Okay, and kind of like how they did in the TCG. But the effect of it's really good as well, because during the main phase, if a monster whose effects are negated is actually on the field, you can special summon it from your hand, this card. And then if your opponent special summons a monster, except during the damage step, you can activate one of the effects based on where it was special summoned from. If it's from the hand, you can just special summon a monster from your hand. If it's from a deck, you draw 2 cards. If it's from the extra deck, you destroy one of those monsters special summoned from the extra deck. So it's a nice little control card and resource, granter, as well as a nice 2,500 attack body on the board. Okay, very good card. Again, I don't think we're going to be seeing Sword Soul quite released yet in the game. We also have Anti-Human Intelligence Messiah. It is a pendulum effect, is a macrocosmos for spells as well as trap cards. And then I think detaching materials for Exceeds works as well. They will get banished. Okay, it's everything but monsters. Okay, and then as a monster effect, you can reveal this card in your hand, add one other pendulum monster from your hand, or one card from your pendulum to its owner's extra deck face up. And if you do, you special summon this card. All right, and then you can only summon Anti-Human once per turn that way. And then once per turn, if another monster or monsters is normal or special summoned while you control this card, send that monster or monsters to the graveyard during the end phase of the turn. So while Messiah is on the board, if your opponent summons monsters, Messiah is still face up. During the end phase, those monsters are going to be sent to the graveyard. Okay, so it's a very nice card. Hasn't been played like at all in the TCG, but I feel like it can be a decent tech against certain decks in the future. Okay, we also have the Despian, one of the main fusions, okay? And then we have Starving Venomy Dragon. So we're going to see a little bit of support for the Starving Venom deck, as well as probably some Predator Plants. And then we got, like I said, one of the Despian monsters coming out. And some of the cards that are actually in this pack right now, or cards that will probably be in the pack, and some cards that are already in the game that will help the archetype. We already have Brandon in white. We have Albion, the Branded Dragon, that fusion summons out of the graveyard when it's summoned. And then we already have Fallen of Albaz, which is one of their main monsters. But as the deck progresses, we'll see how much of this people main. And so the cards we're probably going to be getting added is going to be Jester, perhaps. So whenever a Jester is normal or special summoned, you get to add a Brandon Sparrow Trap from the deck to the hand. Okay? And it has a bunch of other effects, like if face-up fusion monster controls destroy a battle or leaves the field because of the effect, you get, while the Jester itself is in the graveyard, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, special summon it, and if you do, you negate the targeted monster's effects until the end of the turn. Obviously, it's hard once per turn for Alumber, the Jesper of Despia. And in the TCG, the cards price of this is just spiking. So if it's released in Master Duels and Ultra, it'd actually be pretty smart to maybe pick this up in some of the branded package, because whenever we get new stuff such as branded fusion later on in Master Duel, a bunch of other stuff like, you know, the Condemned Witch, Super Poly, Light Hexo Fusion all becomes pretty useful. So if you have any of those, it's kind of nice to hold on to those, because later on branded's going to be a huge deck. Okay, like I said, we'll probably be getting Jester Despia, the Theater of the Branded, which it lets you fusion summon as well. And then Branded Opening is just a great starter for the Branded deck. You get to discard a card and then take a Despia monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it. So a lot of times you go into the Jester, and the Jester lets you add some to support, or the Despia, the Theater. Okay, and we're just going to have bunch of support. Like I said, leak out. I think these will be in the selection packs, perhaps, definitely the master pack, and then I think we'll be getting secret packs that's going to let you dump into the Despia. Okay, so guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Don't want to make it run too much longer and getting into all the details, because a lot of the stuff is just going to be coming out in good time as like the game goes on. But I think it is definitely super exciting that we're getting 2 new master packs, like I said, Beyond the Speed as well as Ruler's Mask. And it would be nice to see how they break it up into secret packs, as well as how it's going to correlate with the new ban list coming up. So again, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video and got something out of it. If you did, definitely hit that subscribe button. And either way, have a wonderful night and stay safe, guys.